In order to have effective production and service provision process, the organization must conduct it under controlled conditions. What does these control conditions mean? Control conditions for production and service provision process include the following. First, there must be available documents that define characteristics of the products and services to be delivered, and this is usually product or service specification. Then there need to be some documents about activities to be performed, and this is usually the procedure for production and service provision or some other work instruction. Monitoring and measuring activities implemented at appropriate stages in the process to ensure that the process is conducted according to plan. Another important condition for effective production and service provision process is to have other necessary resources such as measuring equipment, suitable infrastructure, and competent people. The organization must also ensure that it can achieve planned results of the production and service provision process by occasional validation and revalidation activities. Validation is conducted in situations where the conformity of the product cannot be verified after production, or the cost of verification is too high. For example, before the heating season, the heating plant runs the cold test to see whether the pipelines are okay, and if the test would be conducted with hot water, the consequences of a failure would be much higher than with the cold water. The production and service provision process should be organized in a way that minimizes the chances of human error, and at the end to implement release, delivery, and post-delivery activities. And finally, organization will demonstrate that the released product is conformant with the requirements through the product release record. Whenever it's necessary, the organization needs to establish traceability of its products and services, meaning that it can track down its product from the customer to the raw materials used for its production to the supplier. For example, if the company is producing food and after the delivery to the customer it discovers that one of the ingredients in the food was non-conforming, by using traceability, the company may determine in which batch of the products the non-conforming ingredient was used and where the food from the batch was delivered, so it doesn't have to recall all its products, just the ones from the non-conforming batch. And this is especially important in case when it's needed to conduct a recall of products. When the company operations include handling customer property or the property of the subcontractors, the standard requires such property to be identified, verified, and protected. For example, the customer or subcontractor property may be the raw materials, drawings, or equipment delivered to the company for the service or use. When such property is lost or damaged, the company must report to the owner and document what has happened, and this is usually done in a record called notification to a customer about the changes on his property. In some cases, there may be a need for changes in production and service provision. The proposed changes must be reviewed to determine how they will affect the conformance of the product or service to be delivered. For example, because of economical reasons, the production process might be simplified and some activities like validation can be proposed to exclude from the production process. But exclusion of this activity will create more uncertainty and the final product will meet input requirements, so it is up to the company to decide whether to take the risk or not.